Just minutes away from the closing bell, Jared Blikre has a closer look at some of today's big movers. Jared, what do you have for us?
That's right, a bit of green to start the week, and let's dive right into our heat maps. I'm beginning in the EV market, and we're going to actually have to sort by performance so we can see FuelCell, that is down 18.5% today. And this comes as the EV and power and carbon capture company posting fourth quarter revenue of $39.2 million. That's missing estimates by $6 million and also reporting a wider than expected EBITDA loss of $36.1 million. Now, the stock, which became a day trader favorite over the pandemic, is back to November 2020 levels. And let me put a 3-year chart so we can see this exactly. If you draw a horizontal line there you go back all the way to 2020 and given up half of its value this year alone. And we can see that in the year-to-date chart. A lot of these other EV stocks not faring as well. So let's turn the corner here and we're going to go straight to some of our miners. Now, I haven't talked about gold and silver miners in a bit, but a lot of these names have been perking up. So let's start with GLD. Now, this is an ETF that tracks gold overall. That is the yellow metal. And you can see over the last 3 years, basically treading water, going sideways here, trapping a lot of investors both to the upside and to the downside. Silver kind of in the same situation. But let me just sort by performance here and show you what's happened over the last 3 months. A lot of these names quietly have picked up here. SLV is the silver ETF, kind of the complement to GLD. This is also over a 5-year time span, and you can see it has raced up quite a bit more over the last 3 months than GLD. So silver up 25%, gold up about 9%, and some of these miners, which are more heavily levered to the space than the actual futures, those are up and down even more. Now, want to finally move on to Congo, which is pouring water, cold water over weed stocks. And let me see if I can find this here. Our weed board now. Weed stocks in particular have suffered over the last month. This is over the last 3 months. Let me just change this to a 1-month view. Now, that safe banking bill that might have been added to the latest spending bill that's getting shoved through Congress right now. Guess what? That didn't happen. But Dave, I got to ask you, did anybody think that was going to happen anyway?
Not anyone that watches this show. There should not have been optimism baked in, pun intended, to these stocks, because there should not have been optimism over safe banking, not until we get a different Congress, and that's not going to happen for a couple of years. Look, the only way to get it through was through a spending bill, tuck it into something else. As a standalone piece of legislation, I think it's been passed 7 or 8 times through the House. It is not going to get passed through the Senate. Republicans have repeatedly squashed that notion. I don't know what the optimistic view is for cannabis stocks. I think we're going to have 2 CEOs on later this week, but down between 50 and 75% year to date.